Hello, everyone. I just wanted to start by saying happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays. So, today, what I was thinking about is just kind of making like a beginner slash starting guide. So, there was a couple things I wanted to go over with new players to the game, essentially. So, I just wanted to start, like, if you were going to be starting ESO as a new player, there is many things to cover. So, one thing to start is that any race and any class can use any weapons. So if you're familiar with any of the Elder Scroll games in general, it's pretty similar in that manner. So the only thing you want to keep in mind is each race has an alliance that it is a part of. So if you notice Daggerfall, everything below it is a part of Daggerfall. Aldermiri, same idea, and same with Ebonheart. So from my experience so far, the alliances don't seem to have too much impact on the game other than within PvP. So if you're not a big PvP player, you don't have to worry as much. There are guilds that like to have specifically characters from these alliances, but those are mostly PvP guilds. Okay, so when you're going to be making a new character, what you're going to want to focus on is the racial aspects. So, if you're feeling familiar with any other MMOs, most races have some benefits for certain types of classes. So, if you want to go for a tank, you're going to want to find some racials that are better for tanking. So, for DPS, healing, and so forth. So, with how ESO works, you're going to notice that if you want to heal, you're going to be specifically using Restro Staffs. If you want to do magic type of DPS damage, you're going to be using Destruction Staffs. And with DPS, it's pretty much free roam. You can use magic staffs, as I mentioned. You can use daggers. You can use swords. You can use bows. What's also interesting is when you get to level 15, you can unlock a second action bar. So this second action bar makes it so you can have a second type of weapon. So you'll click a button and it'll switch between each action bar, and on each action bar you can have specific abilities. So if you want to have more like a tank aspect on one bar and then, a DPS on the other bar, it's possible. So it's kind of like almost like dual specking with how it is like in World of Warcraft. But it doesn't switch your talent points. Your talent points will be the same for both bars. So you got to be careful with that. So after you choose your character, your race, and everything, and you join into the game. So I will just log into my main character here. There's a lot of things you're going to want to cover. So basically, what I like to recommend to people that are just starting the game is to get Minion and then install some add-ons. I know a lot of people don't like add-ons, but you'll notice add-ons will definitely help a lot in this game. So right now I'm in my house, so there is a housing system in this game, which is very beneficial when you are playing because it can cover teleporting to different locations. So you can always teleport to your house for free inside and outside of it. So if you want to jump from map to map for free. So you can teleport between locations using the way shrines, but you have to visit the way shrines. And that costs money to teleport them to recall to them. But if you have houses on each map, you can teleport to each of them for free, like your houses on said maps. So it's good to collect houses. So, the first thing I like to suggest, excuse me one second here, is downloading add-ons, like I said. So, one of the add-ons I suggest is Harvest Maps. So if you plan on to do any type of professions, your mining, your blacksmithing, and so forth, Harvest Maps, what it does is it puts all the nodes on the map. So I can give an example here. I'll go outside. It makes it a lot easier so you don't blindly search for these items on the map. Which it's a lot harder than, it appears, because a lot of these nodes blend in pretty well, especially the herbs. So what this add-on does is you'll notice there's pointers to the plants. So when you collect it, the pointer goes away. So you can set up, this add-on's called Harvest Maps, so you can set up Harvest Maps to have different settings. My settings is that on my compass at the top up here, you'll notice, for example, the skull over there being a boss, and then you'll see the plant symbol. So I have it so that you can see nodes within a certain distance, which I'll do another video later on with how to set up harvest maps and in a particular way that, is, my opinion, beneficial. I know my map looks extremely chaotic, but I'm always harvesting. I always harvest all the time, so I like to have all the nodes on my map. So right now it's set up to, basically when I pick the node, it goes away. So that symbol will go away, indicating that the node was picked. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to cover is the add-on called BeamMeUp. This one is very particularly important, in my opinion at least, and I can show you why here. When you first start the game, you will have no way shrines. So pretty much you will be having to explore the map yourself. You'll go from map to map to map to try to explore, get some way shrines, get teleport locations. Just going to switch to a character that doesn't have that many way shrines or anything in general. I might even just make a new character. Actually, I'll just do this one here. This is my banking character. I recommend having a banking character as well. This character, essentially what I do is I just use its inventory as space for stuff that I can't hold in my personal bank in general. So if you notice, this character has a bunch of sealed writs. This character I made specifically just to have inventory space for me. Anywho, okay, so what I was explaining with BeamMeUp. BeamMeUp's a great add-on. What it does is it puts everyone on your friends list, your guilds list, and so forth on a list here. You can teleport to your friends and people on your list for free. So essentially, you, as it says the person's name here, you can click this, and it will teleport to the closest way shrine by them. And instead of costing money, it's free. So, teleports you there. Which is great because now, if I've never been to that way shrine before, it teleports me there. And I haven't, since I'm a low character here. So it says way shrine discovered. So what I do whenever I make a new character is, my first thing I always do is I go to Minion, like the website. One second here. I just write Minion ESO download. First one that pops up. I download it whenever you're running on your computer here. I download it. And then afterwards, my apologies, one second here. Don't know where it's going this moment. One sec here. Okay, either way, malfunction here. Minion works the same way as Curse Client does. So it'll pop up, it'll be a big pop-up menu with all your add-ons. So you can use a search box. I will make another video covering Minion. My apologies that it's not working this moment here. But it'll be a pop-up. You can search in add-ons. As I mentioned, I search up BeamMeUp, which is a great one on Minion. And how it works is, as I mentioned here, you have your teleport locations. So everyone you have on your friends list, guild list, and so forth. To get the best out of the best out of BeamMeUp, what I specifically suggest is the guild system. So you can join up to 5 guilds in ESO. That's not including the NPC guilds such as Dark Brotherhood, Thieves Guild, and so forth. What's great about these guilds is, as I mentioned with the BeamMeUp add-on, you can teleport to any of them. So it says travel to player, visit primary residence. If the person's house is unlocked, you can teleport to their house, but if you click travel to player, it will travel to the closest way shrine to them. The reason it's great to have BeamMeUp is if you're wanting to go to a specific location, such as Ardon, you just type it up, anyone that's there, you can teleport to them. Blackwood, anyone's there, you can teleport to them, and so forth. So the reason why I suggest joining guilds is it makes your BeamMeUp list much bigger. So you can always have someone you can teleport to. You can teleport to their house, you can teleport to their location. If they're in a dungeon, you can teleport to the said dungeon. Sometimes if it's, like a full player dungeon, you're not going to be able to teleport to it. But if it's a delve, you should be able to teleport into it fine. So what you do is you're going to go to your guilds. You won't obviously have a list of guilds. You can do creating and joining guilds. Oh, oopsie here. That's the wrong one here. Guild Finder is what you're going to do. You're going to go to Guild Finder, and then you're going to go browse guilds. You'll find a huge list. It'll say trading and all the other ones. So what I recommend is I always go to trading, and you'll see guild trader, and then you'll notice if they have a trader. Guild trader, you'll notice if they have a trader. If it says, for example, if you go to social here, and you don't notice a trader, or if you go to guild traders, if you're looking for a trading guild and you look and it doesn't say it has a guild trader, well then that guild doesn't have a trader right now. Guild traders are extremely important because if you're familiar with auction houses in like WoW, for example, you can't sell anything. You can sell in, trade, like in your, general chat, or zone chat. So, you can post whatever you're looking for in zone chat, but it's not that effective. The best method is through guild stores. So as I was mentioning, you'll find your trading guilds. So typically what I always suggest is you look for something that says for new players or beginning players, no cost, no fees, anything like that. So a lot of trading guilds will actually ask you to have a specific amount of sales, like right here if you notice. You have to have this much sales per 30 days or 4K donations every 30 days. So essentially that means in this type of guild here, they will kick you out if you don't meet this criteria. So that's why it's always best to find a guild that doesn't have, for example, right here, no REQS. So that means no requirements. So you can join this guild and they don't have any issues. There's no requirements, no nothing. So it's best to find a guild that has a high amount of members and has no requirements. So always look for high members, no requirements. So when you're going to want to apply to the guilds, you're going to click over here, apply to guild, and you're going to want to write an application message. Like, this is very serious. If you don't write an application message, I can guarantee you they will not accept your application. They might think you're a bot, they might think many different things, but blank applications will not be accepted. And you'll notice that on many different ones, especially right down here. Blank apps will not be accepted. No one accepts them. So what I recommend, as soon as you get into the game, join as many guilds as possible. Even all 5. It doesn't mean you have to stay in these guilds. You can quit them later. It's not a big deal. But join all 5. The reason why I state that is because, as I mentioned with the BeamMeUp add-on, you have all the different teleport locations. Now, what's great about having all these different teleport locations, there is a part of the add-on right here called Automatic Discovery of Current Zone Way Shrines. If you click this, you can do experimental looping over random zones. So what I recommend is make your character, get this set up, and go away for an hour or watch a TV show or something. Because if you let this loop, it's going to go through your guild list, your friends list, and everything. And it's just going to keep teleporting to random locations. So it's going to jump from location to location to location. And by doing so, it's going to unlock new way shrines and also give you XP. If you notice, it says gain XP here. So you're going to jump to all these different locations, and then you're going to come back. You're going to have a couple levels. You're going to have new locations. And then you can choose where you want to go from there next. This is an awesome situation because, you open all your maps up. I can't guarantee you're going to get every way shrine everywhere. But, if you have enough guilds, you're more than likely going to have a way shrine per each map. And it makes it a lot easier because when you don't have a mount or you have a slow mount to start, it's going to take forever to get everything. At least this method, you have a lot of places discovered. And the XP is not too bad when you first start. So after we're done this jump, I'll go into a little more about something else here. Okay, so I'm just going to cancel that there. Okay, so after you discovered a bunch of different new way shrines, different locations to go, my next recommendation in add-ons is Tamriel Trade Center. So you can download that on Minion as well. Minion is very simple to use. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get it up. Don't know why it's not running properly on my computer this moment. But it's very simple to use. As I mentioned, you just open it, it pops up, you type in what you're searching for. It has descriptions of each add-on. If you're a WoW player and use CurseForge, Curse Client, or anything like that, it runs very similar to that. So, Tamriel Trade Center, what it does is it will tell you the prices. So if you notice at the bottom of the description on this, it says average, min, max. That's 6 listings. So what it does is it tells you what these items are listed for on Guild Traders, which is great because, it's not easy to adjust prices on things. If you don't have any experience or know anything about this, it's hard to make prices on items what to sell, especially if you're trying to sell and start making money at the start of the game. You don't want anyone to pull a fast one on you or, you just don't know what to sell things for. Unfortunately, it's an MMO and everyone's not truthful. So it's good to know kind of like an average price area of what to sell items for. Okay, so once you actually start getting into the game and start playing, what I recommend always is if you have, so one moment here, stories, zone DLCs. If you have, just looking for the particular one here. If you have Blackwood, I believe it is, and High Isles, you have these things called allies. So allies are great because they assist you in the game. So once I can just switch my other character, I'll show you a little more. So basically an ally is kind of like an extra party member. If you're familiar with Diablo, for an example, an ally is like that person that follows you around and helps you play. The allies are actually pretty great to have, especially as a low level leveling up, because you can specifically put whatever you want on them weapon-wise and make them whatever role you want. So if you're going to be leveling up as a healer, you could have a DPS ally or a tank ally to keep everything off of you to make it quite easier. So I have to go outside because allies won't show up in your house for some reason. One moment here. So if you notice right here, this is my ally. So allies can have quests for you and everything, you know, they have dislikes and likes. So the more you do certain things, the more it will make your ally happy or angry. So how I set up my ally is, one second, we'll go into the person's equipment here. Overview. Okay. It's been a moment since I played around with my ally. Okay. All equipment. Oh, I think that's what I have. Okay. Oh, on here on the left side. Silly me. Okay. So if you notice right here, my ally is using a restoration staff. Particularly why I do this is because I want my ally to be a healer. So if you put a healing staff on the ally, it will level up restoration staff. And restoration staff has healing abilities. So everything on my ally's bar is healing related. So if you notice, each ally will have different class abilities. So if you go to weapon, for example, restoration staff here, my ally is maxed on the restoration staff. So that means all these abilities here I've unlocked and is on the bar down here. They'll have different racial abilities, they'll have different guild abilities, and so forth. Some of them are healing abilities, some of them are DPS abilities, some of them are even tanking abilities. I have my ally completely set up as a healer because I like to try to do bosses, and I like to be able to have my ally heal me. So, when it comes down to allies, there's only a couple of them. And for example, this ally here, Bastion, and this ally here, Miri, are both on the Blackwood map. And Ember and Isabel are both on the High Isles map. So to unlock these people, you have to have, for these two, you have to have Blackwood, and for these two, you have to have High Isles. So I highly recommend, if you're just starting the game, to have one of those expansions. Because leveling up your companion later on is a lot harder to level up them later on than it is when you first start. Because at least your companions are leveling up with you when you're playing, rather than leveling up with you when everything is harder. Because NPCs pretty much level up with you, so you know if you're a low level, then pretty much every NPC around you is pretty much a low level. Same with health, damage, and so forth. So it makes things a lot easier if, you know, your NPC is a low level, your ally, you're a low level, and basically you can level up together. It makes things a lot easier on yourself. So I recommend doing the teleporting as I mentioned, and then choosing either Blackwood or High Isles as your starting location. I'll make a video about how to get each ally in the future here, but otherwise that's the best method of doing it, is starting in those areas. So next thing I wanted to reach out, as I've been talking to you about the nodes, so you know, your herbs, your enchanting nodes, and so forth. There are quests each day that involves nodes. Well, not nodes themselves, they're called writs. So while you're leveling up your professions, you can do writ quests. Writ quests are daily quests. So best way of doing it is, we'll show you right here. Just going to go to the request person. So this is High Isles here. You'll go to these signs, and they're in most major cities. So if you know as Provisioner, Alchemist, and then all your crafting writs. So normally they will ask you to do something on the basis of where your professions are. So craft professions here, alchemy, blacksmithing, clothing, enchanting, and so forth. So if you don't have your professions at, excuse me, if you don't have your professions leveling up, you know, for example, like how it says metalworking right here. If you don't put points into metalworking, you can only use lesser ores. So, if, for example, if you have 50 blacksmithing and only 1 out of 10, you're only going to be able to make particular types of ore still. And when you do your writs are going to be on the basis of what you can actually create and not what actually your level is. So you'll accept your writs, and most of them will be very simple, generic stuff like, you know, create a sword, create a shield, create 2 staffs, and so forth and so forth. So, you know, you'll go to your table, you know, for jewel crafting, you'll create a ring, create a necklace, and then you hand them in. And each time you hand them in, you'll get a little writ box. I'll make a video more specifically on writs later as well. But what I recommend is, while you're leveling up, get every node possible. Because, you know, you gather up your nodes as much as possible, you gather up all your ores, your plants, and everything leveling up. The only issue being is if you don't have ESO Plus, you won't get access to the craft bag. The craft bag is extremely beneficial because what it does, it literally holds everything from nodes. And sometimes even items from chests. So, instead of having to go into your normal inventory, it will put everything into your craft bag. And it's unlimited. You know, like I have hundreds and hundreds of items in here. And, you know, not even small amounts of some of them, you know, 800 of some of these items. Your normal inventory won't be as big as 144 when you start. You'll probably be around like 30 to 40. So, you know, if you don't have ESO Plus, picking up nodes is going to go through your inventory super fast. So I recommend ESO Plus, you know, because it's going to make your life extremely difficult if you don't have it. So the reason why I recommend doing nodes each day, it will give you XP towards your profession, and later on when you get your max skill levels here, the items you get from your writs. So after you do your writ, you'll get a little crate. You open the crate and it has resources in it. And sometimes it has another writ inside of it. So you'll get a quest writ that goes into your inventory. I don't know if you remember on my banking character, if you rewind back to there, on my banking character, it had inventories full of writs. So those writs are acceptable quests that actually have unique quests rather than the simple writs on these signs. So completing those unique writs give you writ points. Writ points you can exchange for special items, such as furniture and stuff for your house. You can get crafting stations in your home, and to get crafting stations in your home, you can either pay a lot of gold for it or writ points for it. I'm trying to keep this simple, but I'm also trying to explain everything, you know, to make it much easier to transition into this game. Okay, so try to do your writs every day while you're leveling up. Keep your professions going up, keep everything going up. Another thing I'd recommend while you're leveling up, once you reach level 10, you unlock dungeons. You'll unlock dungeons, you'll unlock PvP. So what's great is if you click the letter P, it opens your group activity finder. So you'll unlock dungeons, so dungeon finder. Each day you will get a purple one here and a mass amount of XP. So for your first dungeon, you will get a lot of XP. You can XP farm dungeons to level 50 and higher if you want. That's up to you. But on a recommendation, I would do dungeons, one dungeon every single day on a minimum. So you can get your first major XP bonus. I'm not that big of a PvPer, and it's not because I don't enjoy PvP. I am a fond player of PvP. I really enjoy PvP. I just suck at PvP on ESO. So I probably won't be making any recommendations on, PvP videos or anything like that because it's out of my field of expertise. But regardless, every day I still would recommend doing one PvP. Just like the Dungeon Finder, you'll notice the XP is a lot. So for your first win in PvP, you will get a lot of XP. Same with your first dungeon, you will get a lot of XP. So I suggest doing your writs every day. I suggest doing one dungeon every day and one battleground every day. You will get up to 50 really fast by doing this. You probably can get up to 50 within a week if you do majority of this. So for the most part, that's what I would recommend as a starting player. The other thing I would recommend is once you get a mount, mounts don't start out as fast as they do in most games. So like, for example, like with World of Warcraft, you will buy, your different levels of mounts, and they have different speeds. Well, in this game, it works differently. You will go to a stable master, and you will level up different parts of your mount. So you can only do one of these each day. So that's another daily thing I would suggest. I would suggest putting all into speed to start, and then, you can put into stamina or carry. I kind of hop back and forth because I don't feel that my horse runs out of stamina that fast. But, you may feel differently. But I always recommend going to speed first. So put your points in every single day because you can only do it once a day. So once again, I'll just go over a quick aspect of what I recommend. You're going to want to get minion. You're going to want to get add-ons. You are going to want to get BeamMeUp. You're going to want to get harvest maps, and you're going to want to get Tamriel Trade Center. Harvest maps is the map that shows you all the nodes on the map. I know that my map looks extremely chaotic. You can actually remove whatever nodes you want through the filter. You can make, each map, you can make each thing go away. You can make each thing stay. You can shrink it. You can make them bigger. You can make them smaller. If you don't feel like having anything on your map, if you're not planning to harvest at all at that moment, you can turn all of them off. It's very customizable. I will make a video later on to show how customizable it is. BeamMeUp is the teleport add-on. As I mentioned, you can teleport to friends, guildmates, whatever is on your list. It'll make exploring the huge map a lot easier. There's a lot of locations and a lot of places to go. There's a lot of way shrines. There's a lot of different places. It will make your life a lot easier. Tamriel Trade Center, that will make it so that you understand the cost of items more. I will do a quick show on the Guild Trader, so I can explain that a little bit before we end here. So there's also personal banks. So, you can go into your bank and upgrade your bank space. You can put your currency into your bank. So you can carry how much money you want on you, and you can deposit how much you want in your bank. This bank is shared between all your characters on your account. So, not everyone gets a different bank. It's shared account-wide. So, guild traders, as I mentioned. So you can go to your guild bank as well. So if you're in guilds, they have guild banks. If you click F, you can switch between all the guilds you're in. Not a lot of guilds will allow you to withdraw through the guild without permission, so you'll have to build your rank up with the guild, speak with guild members to withdraw and so forth. Very similar to a lot of other MMOs. I won't get too much into that. So Guild Store.
Once someone tried to deposit a gold.
So Guild Store works as an auction house. You can sell your items. You can only sell 30 items per guild store. So the reason why you want to be in more than one guild is so you can have more than one seller. So you can switch. So you can sell 30 per each guild. So as I mentioned when you were joining guilds beforehand, so we'll go to Guild Finder one more time here. Browse guilds. So you'll see Guild Trader, the name, and the location. So there's two different ways to access your Guild Trader. So if I'll go to my guilds here, Guild Finder, right here. It will say Guild Trader. It will say this person in this location. So, that being said, I'm in that location right now here, Godfallen Bay. So, yeah, actually, I'll just stay right here. There's two ways to access your Guild Trader. There's one, you can go to a banker, go to Guild Store, and then you can access all the Guild Stores you are in. You can also access, searching and buying from those guilds. So, you can see whatever they have in the Guild Store here. But the thing is, it doesn't list everything. So it's not like a centralized auction house like how it is in, for example, World of Warcraft. In World of Warcraft, you'll have your one auction system and everything will be listed on it. In this, it's different. Each guild has different things. So that's actually the one person from the one guild I'm in right here. So this person will only sell stuff that my guild has posted. This person will only sell stuff that that guild has posted, and so forth, and so forth. Each city has a certain amount of guild vendors in it. Some have one, some have two, some have five, it's really random per area. So, as I mentioned, you're going to want to join a guild that has Guild Trader if you plan on selling. If you don't plan on selling, then feel free to just join the biggest guild you can find for BeamMeUp. So you can at least unlock everything going forward. I like BeamMeUp because I use it for anywhere I need to go. So if I want to go to Clockwork, I type it in, I click it, and then it will bring me to a way shrine in Clockwork. And then, since it brought me to a way shrine in Clockwork City, I'll show you here. Once it brings you to that said location, you can use the way shrine that's there. So it teleported me. So let's say I want to go to this map. So, I wanted to go to this map here. But I didn't want to go to the location it teleported to me to. Well, now I'm in a way shrine. You can teleport free from way shrine to way shrine. So now I can teleport here for free. As you see, there's no cost there. But if I click map and I go to click here, you'll see there's a cost there. Your cost will go up more frequently the more frequently you have teleported recently. But if you're at a way shrine, it's free to go from place to place. But let's say you're in the middle of nowhere. Let's say I'm all the way down over here. I can use BeamMeUp, I can type in Clockwork as I just did, and then it will teleport me to, for example, this location. Then I can use this location here. If I wanted to actually go into the city, I can teleport from here to there for free because I'm at a way shrine. So that's the basics I wanted to cover. You're going to want to level your mount each day. You're going to want to do your writs each day. You are going to want to do your daily dungeon, your daily PvP. Once you hit level 50, you'll start going into champion points. So you'll see at the top right here, my champion is 644. So you got your standard talent points here. Per class, each is different. For example, most of the time you're going to want to go into whatever you want into said location. You'll find a lot of websites that have specific talent points or suggestions that they will say and what weapons they would recommend. I'm not going to get too much into that because, talent points are very personal. There's a lot you can do with it. It really depends on what you're looking for. I can't say there's no right way or wrong way. You can make your character not great one way or another, but luckily enough, it's resettable in most main cities. Or if you go to your house, and you'll get a free bench, and you can go into that bench and change your talent points. So, I can make a video about that later on as well. But other than talent points, you'll have champion points. So once you get into your champion levels, you can put into champion points. And each champion point system is a little different. There's craft, warfare, fitness, and that itself is a lot to get into. I can go into that later on and explain more about it, but this is more basically a guide of from 1 to 50. So if you have any questions, you need any more help, feel free to contact me. If you need any help on, champion points, talent points, additional guides, feel free just to comment and tell me what you think. I'm going to be putting out a video on where to find each ally, how to do their quest. I'll be putting out a guide for starter ways of making some money. And a couple other guides out there. But, if you're looking for something more immediate, feel free to comment and let me know what you need help with. Alrighty, thank you so much for your time. Once again, happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays. I wish everyone a safe trip back and forth between your holidays, and I hope that you have good weather. Alrighty, take care, and bye now.